don't own me.
Obsession is a movie about a wish gone wrong horror made by a comedian YouTuber, so you know it's gonna be good. An idea that was definitely already touched upon in a Supernatural episode and Fairly Godparents. But this is more of an extensive detailing of that subject. What happens if you take an entire person's autonomy? And the only way you'll be able to achieve that is by following what the main character did. Not believing in the horrors of codependency, which is exactly what the wish has done to the girl Nikki and what it gave to him. Codependency gives too many to the receiver, while the giver loses their own autonomy through the process. But the bigger problem here is that it is permanent and uncontrollable until one of them. The first time we met Nikki, she was the nicest girl ever, which is why Bear fell for her in the first place. It doesn't really take much to please the guy. So, all around, he doesn't really give much information as to why he likes her, other than her being nice the first time they met. Being nice itself is the bare minimum. So the goal was clear, he just wants her to have her. Did Bear had a chance with her? Yes. Yes, he did. Let me tell you how and why. When they were talking on the car, Nikki mentions about a story she was writing, which features the themes of a love story. Bear mentions if it was romance. Nikki insisted the difference between a love story and a romance, and said that she would love to experience love to be able to write the story more better and accurately. Note that both her and Eon, both of their friend, was having casual during this time. No romance, just casuals, which begs the question why she would even mention her inexperience of having no romantic relationship with anyone to Bear. Not to Ian, to Bear. And at the end of their conversation, Nikki shoots her shot by asking Bear if he likes her, as a last resort, if her hinting worked. And Bear, well, you know the rest.
Do you like me?
I think we're good friends.
No.
Oh my goodness, Valentine! Whoa, no! That is not the shot!
Which made Bear do the wish. So how exactly do you write a possessed human being strip of her control over her own body? With one goal and one goal only, to give overwhelming love to another person. One factor that separates it from the classic possession is that it is not a brain activity, but a supernatural phenomenon that occurred from a wish, creating something from nothing. Not from the brain, not from the body, but from nothing. So how could the supernatural replicate the human behavior the same way an AI does? Let me teach you about writing, so that you could be an aspiring writer like Nikki. In writing, every scene is made up of two kinds of moments, beats and pauses. A beat is anything that changes something, a line of dialogue, an action, someone says something, someone does something. The scene is different after it than before. Beats are what move a story forward, or should I say, time. A pause is the opposite. It's internal thought.
Oh, I'm gonna burn in hell for sure. Here he is talking about his poor dead mother, and I can't stop wishing his hands were unbuttoning my dress.
It's describing the room, the weather, what something looks like. Nothing happens because of it. It's just being there. Time itself isn't moving. It's just sitting still. Now, if you put this in the context of writing, when a person thinks she must be an artist, that's a pause. It doesn't count as a beat, because it exists only in the narrator's head. The world cannot interact with it. But the moment they say it out loud, you must be an artist, that will be a beat. That's an event, something that the world can react to. And if you put this in the context of, let's say, AI companions, AI girlfriends, they would react differently depending on how you wrote that prompt or message. It will never acknowledge the fact that you just wrote, "She must be an artist," as an internal dialogue. She will never acknowledge that you just described the surroundings in your head. Although if you said, "You must be an artist," she will make that her entire personality, even though the person that designed that AI did not code her that way, because its only goal is to appeal to you and would find ways to keep you satisfied. The same way that Wish-Nikki was. She lied about her father being sick just so that she could stay with him and sleep at his place. And one thing about AIs is that they always make sure to remember your first conversation. And if you look back on both Bear and Nikki's conversation during the first 24 hours, we all know that the wish was, "I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the world." It was like opening a new AI chat with this being your first prompt. And the conversation that night, his cat, her dad, and freaky Nikki. As soon as Bear asks if Nikki's dad actually has cancer, she reacted deflective and tries to escalate when she was caught in a fabrication. The lie about her father wasn't just a device to stay close to him, it was Wish-Nikki managing the narrative of the relationship. And when Ian called that night, it was trying to break that narrative. She didn't try to be honest. Instead, she was deflected and punished Bear for noticing the inconsistency, which ties back to the first prompt that we talked about. The system itself isn't just generating responses based on what was said the first night, it's also maintaining the illusion at all costs once it's been established, because breaking character would mean admitting the Wish was never really delivering what he wanted. When Wish-Nikki performed a ritual on Bear's dead cat, then turning it into a sandwich and feeding it to him, it isn't just a weird, quirky side of Wish-Nikki. It's the system taking something it knows mattered emotionally to Bear during the first 24 hours before the Wish. It was discussed as a big deal, so it registered as a beat. And Wish-Nikki, like an AI, heard the words but not the meaning.
I'm your freaky Nikki.
When Ian coined Freaky Nikki and was having a casual thing with her himself, then encouraging Bear to use that nickname, it's plausibly self-interested, keeping Bear from getting close to her by feeding him a joke that ultimately backfires. When Wish-Nikki repeated Freaky Nikki, that's the system clinging to the one piece of identity it was handed that night. The same way an AI would cling to a title you gave it. It doesn't know that the Freaky Nikki nickname came from a place of mockery and sabotage. It just knows it's data that was said to her, so it becomes part of what she performs back at him. And that's what I think Wish-Nikki is. And I hope you learned something, so that you'll be able to chat with your AI girlfriends effectively and efficiently with a consistent and better storytelling. Speaking of storytelling, the movie was amazing and almost unbelievable that some movies are still this good being released on the modern age. There was a scene in the movie that reminded me a little bit like the scene from Pulse, when Wish-Nikki was in the shadows watching Bear sleep. Her crying that scene was disturbing to me, cause I don't know which one was crying. Wish-Nikki who couldn't receive the reciprocation, or Nikki herself. I mentioned that Nikki was the nicest girl ever because she requested Bear to end her suffering by dying, the first time they ever spoke after the Wish, and she never even had a sense of hatred. That's how nice she was. But both her and Bear never knew that the Wish would work. But the only difference between their morals is that Bear took advantage, which gave us the chilling scene.
What's so bad about being with me?
I've never been with you, Bear.
What made the movie stick with us after the ending?
What are you doing?
I know what you're trying to do.
During the first few minutes that we get to meet Wish-Nikki, I don't know if it's just me, but I sense a feeling of embarrassment for Nikki because she is completely making a fool of herself in front of Bear, knowing she has no control over it. But what made it embarrassing is that Bear is clueless. And that cringe moment was the instrument that was used to make us immerse in the story. The movie held that trust until it's time to crush us with it. The inconsistencies in the movie definitely exist, specifically when showcasing the timeline of which the movie was set in. Bear having a television box while having an iPhone, the art style of the One Wish Willow being retro, the song playing at the end of the movie being Forever by the Little Dippers, released in the 60s. But I want you to get a good look at the color palette of this cover. It's comparable to the One Wish Willow's packaging color. This doesn't really mean anything considering how red being extremely common color in mid-century Americana design specifically. There is definitely an aesthetic the director was trying to put in the movie, and it's this specifically, taking a dreamy sweet song from the 60s into the movie, which makes a lot of sense because most modern songs aren't as romantic in a way the songs did in the 50s or 60s, because why would they title the movie Obsession when the themes of longing is not present? The film clearly wants you to feel the romance, even though the relationship itself is unhealthy and evil. If the film only showed you the relationship as creepy and clinical, it will just be a cautionary horror story and you'd watch it from a safe distance. So by borrowing the sincerity of old love songs and old world aesthetic specifically because modern romance language is too self-aware and ironic to make you actually feel the longing. That visual and musical language is what turns a story about an unhealthy wish gone wrong relationship into something that feels like real heartbreak instead of just being a classic horror movie. And with that ingredient, we are seduced by Wish-Nikki alongside Bear. My favorite scene would probably be Bear and Nikki staring at each other, blushing and smiling. The faces they made was so good given the context because both of them are now being controlled by the wish, stripped out of their autonomy. It's messed up. But you know what isn't? Two people loving each other equally and passionately.